All right, little vlog update. I had the honor about a little over a week ago, I'll put the date there as well as STRAVA activity, of pacing Kilian Jornet, the GOAT, greatest of all time for mountain ultra trail running in the world. Kilian and I actually go way back. I got to pace him in his States of Elevation project. If you don't know what that is, he's doing all these 14,000 foot peaks, basically over 4,000 meter peaks across the state of Colorado. But then he's also going to ride his bike all the way over to California, hit up the 12 or so 14ers over there, and then there's also ride his bike up to the state of Washington, quite a long bike ride, to hit up one of the 14ers, or maybe there's two up there. So it's a human-powered adventure, and he hit Colorado first. I think he's actually leaving the state by now, the time of the upload of this video, but I got to track him as he was coming across the state of Colorado. There's 58 peaks. He hit up the 56 public land ones in Colorado, all human-powered, riding his bike in between trailheads, often cutting the most aesthetic lines between these mountains, doing these epic link-ups. And he was coming through my backyard, my new backyard, literally outside of Poncha Springs, Colorado here. We're on the edge of the Nolan's 14 FKT line, which is a link-up between here and Leadville, Colorado, about an hour north if you're driving in a car. He was traversing that on foot, of course, hitting up Mount Elbert, the tallest peak in the state. I'll put the elevation there of Mount Elbert, 14,440 something feet. I'll put that in meters there. He linked up that and Massive for the top of the Nolan's 14 line, but then he had to ride his bike up and over Independence Pass over to Aspen to go in the Elk Range, where he did the Elk Traverse, which is a super gnarly link up of some of the most technical 14,000 foot peaks in the state. I just did like Capitol this summer, and it's definitely probably the hardest one on the standard route. He's doing some cliff climbing, class 5 high exposure off trail types of link ups to get an aesthetic ridge line. And that's a really long traverse. Then he had to ride his bike back up over Independence Pass into my neck of the woods. And I had the honor of meeting him as he was traversing across on like 3 hours of sleep. He's going between these different peaks, barely sleeping. Maybe he takes a 30-minute power nap. He's got some vehicles following him around, but he's also got a gravel bike and a road bike. And I want to break to some of the footage here. It was, unfortunately, I did the night shift, as the crew said. I knew he was coming in off of Mount Princeton, which is a really big 14er in the middle of the Nolan's line, on a class 3 route. Kind of as the sun was setting, it was raining, it was getting cool. I'm waiting down here about 30 minutes north of where I live here. Sandy drove me up and dropped me off at the Antero trailhead, the standard route up Mount Antero. And I said I would help, could join Kilian in pacing him for these last 3 14,000 foot peaks on the Nolan's line as he headed south to basically a mountain in my backyard where I could actually ride my bike with him a bit and then ride my bike home. It's so close to where I live now. So really a special experience joining Kilian, even though it was dark. And he comes into Princeton. He got a meal to eat, took a little bit of a rest break, maybe 15-20 minutes, geared up for the night shift. Again, it was raining, it's starting to get cold. We have a big pull up Mount Antero, and you could see some of the darkness setting in there, the footage. We're on these like jagged rocks. It's a scree field. The Nolan's line is a lot of off-trail rocky traverses, and they are class 3 mountains. There's not big cliffs you could fall off, but you know, the rain started coming down. We're cracking 12,000, 13,000 feet. We're going up with our trekking poles, big pack on. He's carrying a pretty big pack and just really putting in a big day on very minimal sleep day after day for weeks on end now. And so he's finishing up this line, and you could see we're going up Mount Antero, and well, I'll just cut to the footage now. Here we go. 14,000 feet. Kilian has made San Antero. Nice one, man. Good work. Yeah. Say we saw the lights of Slide at Poncha Springs, but now the fog is rolling in. Alright, still midnight, so it's still Wednesday, 10th. Head down Antero. Try to make the saddle. So we got Chavano and Talbosh. Talbosh and Chavano next. Get out of this wind though, it's a little on the colder side. So you can see the wind had picked up. The rain had turned into snow, but it was like a wet snow. So it's like super windy. You could barely hear, you could barely see. Kilian's reaching into his bag, pulling out some peanut M&Ms. He was eating a lot. He had a sandwich on that Antero Ridgeline saddle. And then we had to beeline it down towards Browns Creek, if you know the area at all, off a saddle of Antero, Mount White, heading towards the final two peaks, which was Tabawash and Chavano, which are kind of together, but to make that ridgeline, you've got to cross Browns Creek, which I'll show you the clip there.
Typical Nolan's line bushwhacking. Descended off of Antero. Got to cross this Browns Creek to make the final climb to Tabawash and Chavano. Kilian's doing it. Gotta do some bushwhacking for sure. It's about 1 in the morning. Got to make one final climb up. Yeah, this part's a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely some off-trail adventure. Might be lucky and find an elk or deer trail though. And we gotta climb this scree field.
So then you're doing a little bushwhacking, a little route finding. We're trying to follow the Nolan's FKT line that Francois Dane had set, an FKT that now got broken actually, but it's a pretty standard line, but it goes up this horribly steep scree field that's loose rock, and it's like, 3 in the morning now. We're slowly hiking. I could tell Kilian's feeling some fatigue. I've actually never seen Kilian so tired before. I've had the honor of racing in the same races as him over the years, over the last 12 years. We went way back to, running the Skyrunning World Championships. It was at the Rut in 2013. I raced Kilian there at the Rut. He passed me on the downhill off of Lone Peak, the technical, and beat me by quite a bit, but we went 1-2 at the Rut way back in the day, 2013. And then the next year, the Skyrunning champs, well, I saw him at Transvolcania a couple times with Luis Alberto, shared the podium there, 2014, or actually 2013 also. I'll put up some of the old pictures there you could see. And then, he was out here in Colorado for the Yurok championship where we finished 1-2 overall in the ultra distance Skyrunning World Series rankings that year. And then just seeing him at, Golden Trail Series. I was in the top 10 for the International Golden Trail Series in 2018, 2019. And probably a highlight there was when he raced Pikes Peak Marathon, and we shared the podium there. I was pretty far behind him also, but second place to Kilian in 2019 at the Pikes Peak Marathon. Good, that great picture there. Memorable finish. And of course, ironically, he was actually going to ride his bike over to Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs area, to do the Pikes Peak Mountain, kind of on the backside, not the bar trail, after finishing Nolan. So I'm accompanying him up the scree field. He's very fatigued. It's, still super windy, super cold. I had on like 5 layers.
It's a steep gully, rocky and loose. Kilian's being a trooper. He's fighting sleep deprivation, changing weather conditions.
That's the hardest to fall asleep when you are walking.
Yeah. See how steep and rocky this is.
I find that it's almost like you have micro dreams.
Yeah.
You close the eyes and it's
Starting to hallucinate a little.
no, not hallucinating, but just think that close the eyes and you are like really falling asleep.
Let's keep digging. Almost to the saddle. Came from across Antero, way across the valley. Make this ridgeline up here, the Tabawash and Chavano. Kilian showing true grit here. Doing this final push on the Nolan's line after so many days. See the snow in the rocks there. Was raining on us going up that horrible gully. Now it's snowing on us as we approach Kilian's at summit of Tabawash up here.
Going up Tabawash, we hit the saddle in between Chavano and Tabawash. There's a saddle that you hit, so you have to kind of do you do an out and back to Tabawash. So Tabawash, run the clip there. We're making the summit ridge there. Again, barely could see anything. So the rocks are getting slippery. He's got his normal shoes on, his normal pack. We got full trekking poles out. We got beelining it back over to Chavano. It's less than a mile, but it's down and then back up. So the Chavano summit seemed like it was taking forever to get to, but big rocks on this summit, kind of hard to find the official trail even, especially in the dark with low visibility. But I'll run that clip there, going up Chavano with him.
Summit of Chavano. Heading down the Angel Chavano with Kilian. You could see Poncha Springs, Salida down there. We got some snow accumulation. Reminded me when I skied down this in the spring. I'm gonna beeline it down for the trail. Finish up at the Angel Chavano campground. Out of the wind, it's a lot nicer. Still steep in the snow though.
And then finally, we're coming down Chavano. I'm telling him, you know, I used to ski this in the spring. If you get a ski summit off Chavano, it's pretty steep off the top there. And we're going down, and I didn't realize this, but we hit a new trail. They've been doing a lot of trail work on Mount Chavano. So we actually ended up hitting these new trails and added a lot of big switchbacks and stairs, which I don't think either one of us was prepared for. But I consider this my backyard 14er mountain because I could see it out my window of my house here. I've ridden my bike there and skied it before, and the big plan was to meet the rest of his crew, or at least one member from his crew. The rest of them were sleeping. It was like 5-6 a.m. in the morning. They'd been up all night at the Angel of Chavano trailhead. So the last couple miles there, we're going on the Colorado Trail actually for 3 miles, 5K about, and it's, you know, there's still some up and down, but it's mainly downhill at that point.
All right, Kilian just made it off the new Chavano trail. We're on the Colorado Trail now. Yeah, we're gonna take a right. Yeah, it's down. Yeah. Although we got to go all the way to the Angel Chavano, not Blink's cabin. Francois Dane started his Nolan's at this parking lot up here on the left, but it's not a good road to ride right now on your bike. It would be really far. All right, Kilian, finished Angel Chavano trailhead. Yeah. Nice work, man.
Yeah, nice.
Heck of a pull. Now he's got to ride his bike
Nice
down to the lodging, which luckily is not too far, and it's a pretty smooth road, so I'm gonna ride my bike too.
But he's still got to ride his bike because, again, it's a human-powered adventure. So they came out with my bike, my gravel bike, thanks to Poseidon Bikes, as well as Kilian's gravel bike. He had a big light on it, which was nice because he was ripping on that bike. I'll tell you, we took a little break, drank some tea. He fueled up a bit, put on an extra jacket. I kind of wish I had an extra puffy jacket because it was cold. Get on the bike, he's starting to rip 20-30 miles an hour. I'm a little more cautious. I just have my dimming headlamp on. I ran out of headlamp battery. Good thing to bring a spare on that adventure, but we rode. I didn't get any film clips, obviously, of the bike ride, but you see us finishing up there.
All right, finish the bike ride with Kilian.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Good work. Good luck with the rest of the voyage.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a fun time, so I'm sorry I was blinding you with my light.
I'm not even sure how much he slept, maybe 3 hours that night because it was already almost sunrise.
So Kilian and I started up Antero over there, went down across Browns Creek, hit up Tawash, Chavano in the snow, came down the trail. Now I've been riding my bike back home over towards Poncha. A beautiful sunrise. Heck of a day, heck of a night.
and he was already gearing up for a big long bike ride over to Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs. It's like a 2-hour drive in a car on the highway, so I can only imagine how long that bike ride was going to take. And it's really impressive what he's doing, this link up, human powered, across a lot of the western states of the United States here, and linking up some of our tallest continental peaks across the US, and some are quite technical. Colorado has some really technical ones. He ended going to southern Colorado, the San Juans, but also the Creststone group, pretty technical lines he's been picking, as well as obviously the Maroon Bells and Aspen area, pretty technical mountains. Little Bear, which I just did a couple weeks ago. It's like I've been in Colorado for 13 years and it's taken me that long to do 57 of these 14ers. Kilian's knocked him out in a matter of days. So very sleep deprived, very impressive feat, and riding his bike between all these trailheads in some pretty remote areas in very adverse weather, I'd say. We've actually had a lot of cold rain this September, so it's been extra challenging with the cold rain and wind, even some snow already up in the mountain peaks and ice on the rocks. So that makes it a lot more tricky compared to if you're doing a 14,000 foot peak in sunny, dry conditions during the daylight on full sleep. So best of luck to Kilian as he goes across the country, rides his bike to California. I believe he's been making some community stops talking about the Kilian Jornet Foundation, which is a really cool project. And again, yeah, it was great to see Kilian again, catch up with him during this night shift of pacing. Hope you enjoyed some of those shaky B-roll clips I got from my iPhone camera mainly, but I guess he broke one of his iPhones. He was getting some stuff with the GoPro, and he's got some film crew stuff, so more exciting media on the way. If you follow him on Instagram or on his YouTube channel, you can check out States of Elevation Project. Again, I'm going to update you guys with a vlog. I'm training for a 100-mile ultramarathon, as well as, check out my old videos on road running marathon tips also. So really thanks to the Patreon support for keeping this channel alive. Title sponsor Hoka. Hope you're doing well, and stay tuned for more via 2Max Productions.